Hi, and welcome to another series of conversation with our technology experts. And today we have Atul Dhablania, COO and SVP Engineering at SonicWall. Hi, and welcome on the show. How are you doing today?
Doing great, thank you.
Great. Thank you for taking time out and speaking to us. Atul, tell us a little about SonicWall. How has it been in the past, and how has it progressed? And going forward, what are your plans?
SonicWall has been in the cybersecurity business for 29 years, and we started off as a on-prem firewall company. And as over the years, the security landscape has changed completely. Cyber threats have evolved over time.
Right.
So have we. We've invested a lot in developing technologies that not only cater to on-prem security, but also cloud applications. So if you look at it today, a lot of people are moving to the cloud, whether it be hybrid, public or private cloud applications. It's no longer, that you're sitting behind four walls of a corporate environment and trying to work. People are remote mobile users, and when they basically access applications, they're all in the cloud. So who is protecting them? So we have to be able to evolve with that. So SonicWall over the last, 4 or 5 years since you became independent, have actually invested in technology, in solutions that cater to those kind of applications and customers.
So Atul, you've mentioned about 5G and cloud. And since these are the buzzwords in the industry today, so I would like to know how you positioned yourself as SonicWall in terms of IoT, AI, 5G, and cloud.
That's an excellent question. So let me start with 5G first of all, because I know that the world is moving towards higher data rates, and 5G is being adopted by countries all over the world, right? And UAE, I was just reading yesterday, at the Solar Dew, all these ISPs are going to be launching their 5G services. And what it really does is with 5G, you get 10 to 20 times the speed of the current 4G technology. So think of, today a user that is sitting behind a firewall, and seems that he's protected through an on-prem solution. That is going to go away because now your 5G technology can interface directly with your PCs or whatever your control points are. That could be industrial control solutions or whatever it is. So now the security threats have migrated from an on-prem to where they're being applied, right? So, there was a time when, Dell came out with PCs that had inbuilt LTE, but it never really caught on because wireless just came along. The 802.11 came along. But with 5G, that paradigm is actually going to be changing. So what we have to really look at is how do we protect those endpoints? And those endpoints could be either PCs or they could be industrial control endpoints. How do we really protect them? So we have to work on these IoT security solutions. So that kind of plays into the 5G evolution is actually going to play into the IoT evolution. Today, we talk about IoTs all the time, and from our perspective, we're not talking about the home IoT devices like watches or, or cell phones or whatever it is. We're talking about industrial control. A lot of these, gas pipelines being controlled and managed. How are we going to secure all that stuff? So we actually have solutions, where we'll be able to come up with very cost conscious, because at the end of the day, these IoT solutions are very cost conscious, but they have to be secure. So we have some solutions in the works where we'll be able to link or bring the same security features that we have on our firewalls right now into an IoT gateway kind of a solutions. That actually plays really well into what you mentioned about AI. So at the end of the day, AI is a buzzword, but where it starts with machine learning. Machine learning is all about training, just like humans. We have to have the data set. So going back to our roots we've been in the security business for 29 years, okay? And we have terabytes and terabytes of data. And this is malware. This is all different facets of, how the threats are really coming in because malwares have evolved over time. So we have all this data, and what we're really doing is we're taking the data and we're training our engines to be better. Because at the end of the day, AI only happens if you have data to train. That's why, if you look at, there are companies out there that are actually feeding data into machine learning algorithms and then evolving AI from there on. So what we have done is we've taken all this data and we've actually implemented a technology called real-time deep memory inspection, RTDMI. Okay. This technology actually is a cloud-native technology, so we can take data. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. We send it to the cloud. We send it through our traditional sandboxes, and along with that, we run it through an RTDMI technology. And combination of that too, gets us to the last, hundredth of a percent in terms of a, security solution. So, combining 5G, IoT, and then AI, that in my mind is the overall evolution, and it basically is, security has to play into that as well. So, and we are well positioned to address that in the coming years.
You've already answered my question I had another question for you about data management, and so you already answered the security part of it. So, here in this particular part of the region, the next Middle East is also hosting, especially UAE is hosting the Expo 2020. So do you have any plans for Expo 2020? How do you position yourself? And going forward, how are you going to take Expo 2020?
Again, another excellent question. From my perspective, when I look at it, I think awareness, cybersecurity awareness in this region can only be done when you basically bring in, representations from all over the countries. With over 190 countries being represented in 2020, it gives us a great opportunity.
Absolutely.
The evangelism and basically being able to educate the customers, the endpoint, not only educating them on where the threats are involving, how they're involving, and less important from our perspective in terms of how we can help them, but how we can learn from them as well. Because there are going to be a lot of companies that we can actually go and figure out what solutions they have. How do we work with each other? So as an example, I think as we move forward, it isn't about SonicWall itself providing a security solution. It's a consortium of companies that have to come together, and provide a solution as a whole, because it isn't one company that can solve all the problems. So, 2020 gives us that opportunity to be able to collaborate with a lot of other companies that are going to be here, to work with our customers, give them, a little bit more education about cybersecurity, and be that leader that actually leads with setting an example and educating. Because at the end of the day, if the customer is educated well, then we can do a better job of, protecting them for all the cybersecurity threats.
So lastly, I would like to know, and of course our viewers who are watching you would want to know, why would you recommend SonicWall to the customers and partners out there?
When I look at it, just like in any business, you always want to put your faith and your trust in a company that has done and has solutions that have been vetted over time. And cybersecurity is one of those places where you see a lot of companies that are come up that basically say they can solve all the problems. What they don't have the data set, they don't have the pedigree of being able to solve and seen all those problems, which we have for the 29 plus years. So in my mind, I think the more history that you have, the more richer data that you have, that we use, in machine learning and AI, in RTDMI and developing those technology, that will give our customers better solutions, so they're better protected. Not saying that other companies cannot do it, but it's in cybersecurity, you're looking at the last, 100th of 1%.
Exactly.
Because, everybody can solve problems related to the 99%. It's like, how do you solve that last 1%? And that last 1% solution only comes if you have the richer data sets. So, my recommendation for customers is, look at SonicWall from the point of view of, do we give you a complete story? Not only efficacy-wise, but also a breadth of solutions. So it isn't about perimeter security, it's about cloud security, it's email security, it's a holistic view. That's why we have a platform solution called our Capture Security Center, which actually brings all those things together. So as a security solutions provider, please look at us from the point of view of a holistic picture and our pedigree of being in this field for 29 plus years.
Great. Thank you so much, Atul. It
Thank
was
you.
a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, this was Atul, COO and SVP Engineering with us from SonicWall.